My best friend slept on my couch after a breakup, then got mad I didn't want to be his therapist too. It was 11:38 p.m. when he texted me. "You up?" Then she ended it. The third message was a wall of text. Everything she said. Everything she didn't say. How much he'd done for her. How she took everything. How he couldn't breathe. I already knew what was coming. Then, "Can I crash on your couch tonight? Just need a night off from my head." I said, "Yeah. Come by." He was my best friend. We'd known each other since high school. I'd seen him at his worst, his loudest, his most broken. This wasn't new. This wasn't a burden. This was just life. He showed up 20 minutes later in a hoodie and with a plastic bag. Not a backpack. Not a duffel. Just a bag from the corner store, half filled with random stuff. He didn't take his shoes off. He didn't say thanks. He just sat down and started talking. I didn't ask anything. Just nodded, listened. He talked for almost an hour. About her. About what he thought they had. About how he thought this was just a phase and that she'd come around. Eventually, I said I was going to sleep. Told him the extra blanket was under the side table. He nodded, still mid-rant. I went to bed around 1 a.m. Couldn't sleep for a while. I could hear the fridge door opening and closing. Water running. The microwave beeping. Him pacing. Next morning, 7:30 a.m. I got up. He was still sleeping. No problem. I showered. When I came out, he was in the kitchen. No coffee made. All 3 mugs dirty. Eggshells in the sink. Grease on the stovetop. I didn't say anything. He looked tired. Eyes red. Still wearing the hoodie. He sat down and started talking again. No good morning. No. Thanks for letting me stay. Just didn't sleep. Can't stop thinking. What kind of person just leaves like that? I gave her everything. Remember when we all went to Miami? She said that was her favorite trip. I nodded. He paused for breath, then kept going. For 45 minutes. I was already dressed for work, standing there, still holding my bag. He didn't notice. Or didn't care. That night, same thing. He was on the couch. Same hoodie. Different monologue. New angle, though. Now it was. Maybe I was too good. Maybe she couldn't handle someone being stable for once. That's probably it, right? I said nothing. Just handed him the charger he asked for and went to bed. Night 2 turned into night 3. Night 3 into night 5. And at no point did he ever say, "Thanks for letting me stay. I'll be out soon. Let me clean this. Let me give you some space." It wasn't just grief. It was entitlement, disguised as pain. He wasn't healing. He was performing. And I was his captive audience. I wasn't his roommate. I wasn't his therapist. But suddenly I was both. And I realized this wasn't going to end with just one night. By day 6, the apartment didn't feel like mine anymore. He wasn't on the couch. He was in the living room, barefoot, blanket draped over the chair, playing music from my speakers. My cereal box was half empty. My toothpaste was flattened and mangled like it had been through war. I'd walk in from work and find him in the exact same spot, scrolling, then launching into a full emotional download without even looking up. It always started with, "You won't believe what she posted." Or, "So I've been thinking about what I could have done differently." Or, "Do you think she already has someone else?" At first I answered. Then I nodded. Then I just grunted. And at some point, even that became too much. Because the thing is, when you come home and every single conversation is about someone else's heartbreak, it doesn't matter how much you care about them. You start drowning in their story. By the end of week 1, I started staying late at work. Pretended to be tied up with meetings. Grabbed dinner outside just to avoid walking into that same voice, that same tone, that same spiral. He noticed. On Thursday night, I walked in, and he turned the volume down on the TV, for once, and said, "You've been distant." Just like that. Not a question. Not a concern. A statement. I said I'd had a long day. He nodded slowly. Right. It's just, I'm going through the worst time of my life, and it kind of feels like you don't want to deal with me. I paused. Not because he was wrong, but because it wasn't my job to deal with him. I never signed up for that. I said, I've been letting you stay here. You've had a place to sleep, to eat, to breathe. He cut me off. So now I'm a burden? And there it was. Not. Thank you. Not. I'll clean up. Not. I'll figure out my next steps. Just guilt. I didn't answer. He stood up, walked into the kitchen, grabbed the last yogurt in the fridge, my yogurt, and muttered, Forget I said anything. Then slammed the fridge and went back to the couch. That night, he left his dishes in the sink again. His hoodie was on the floor. Bathroom towel soaked and balled up on the tiles. He was punishing me, quietly, sloppily, for not letting his pain run the entire apartment. And in that moment, I saw it clearly. He didn't want a friend. He wanted a hostage. Someone to nod, absorb, validate, agree. I wasn't allowed to have a boundary, a schedule, a moment to myself. The breakup broke him, I get that. But somewhere along the line, he decided that meant I owed him more than just space. I owed him total emotional compliance. And the moment I stopped giving it, I became the distant one. So that night, I didn't say anything. But I started packing his stuff. Friday morning, he was still asleep on the couch, wrapped in the same blanket he hadn't folded once in 9 days. I stepped over a pair of his socks to get to the counter, tore a page from my notepad, and wrote, Need the place back by Sunday. Thanks. No signature. No smiley face. Just clear. I left the note by his keys. Then went to work. No text from him that day. When I got back, he wasn't home. But his stuff was still everywhere. The bag by the door, 2 hoodies over the dining chairs, and his sad little toothbrush still wedged into my cup like it lived there. He came back around 11 p.m. Didn't knock. Didn't say hi. Just walked in and asked, Really? A note? I said nothing. Kept brushing my teeth. He waited in the doorway. You couldn't even talk to me about it? Still nothing. After everything I've told you. Everything I've gone through. I rinsed, dried my hands, turned the lights off, and walked past him toward my room. He followed. So that's it? I have 2 days, and that's all you're gonna say? I turned and looked at him. Calm. Detached. Done. I said, You asked to stay 1 night. That was almost 2 weeks ago. He scoffed. Wow. Okay. Didn't realize I was such a burden to you. And there it was again, that same guilt-wrapped manipulation. I didn't respond. He stood there, like he was waiting for me to break, to backtrack, to say, No, stay longer. I just needed space. But I didn't. Because I meant it. Sunday came. His stuff was mostly gone. He didn't say goodbye. No thank you. No apology. No recognition of what he took from me. Just a door that closed. And quiet. And that's when I realized. Sometimes people don't want help. They want ownership. Over your time. Your energy. Your patience. They say, I need support. But what they mean is, I need someone to collapse onto. And if you don't collapse with them, they act like you abandoned them. He wasn't my roommate. He wasn't my responsibility. He was my friend, and I opened my door out of trust. But he filled my home with his pain and expected me to host it. For free. Indefinitely. And when I asked him to leave, he acted like I kicked him while he was down. But I didn't. I just stopped lying on the floor next to him.